Carly, you look good. You looked relaxed. You looked good and relaxed on the campaign too. But how has life been post-campaign?
Well, I did get a little bit more rest for a while. I'm a little bit back on the campaign trail again. But honestly, I loved campaigning. I loved seeing different parts of the country, loved hearing people's stories. I had a lot of faith in the American people. I think you have to run for president, but running gave me even greater faith.
I was going to say, what surprised you most on the campaign trail? I mean, you knew what it was like to run for office. You had done that before, but was this this was at a whole different level. What was most surprising to you?
I'll tell you the thing that surprised me the most is the chasm, the yawning chasm between what the national media talks about, fixates on, and what people actually want to talk about. People are practical, concerned, they feel powerless in some cases, they feel angry, they feel hopeful, they have a whole set of emotions, but they want to hear about solutions and what actually you're going to do. And there's also, frankly, a yawning chasm between part of what's called the establishment, the party structure, the donor class, and what voters actually want to talk about and what they care about.
Obviously you went through the first round of primaries, but eventually you said, I'm going to step aside. What made you make that call?
Well, I couldn't get any oxygen. That's a shorthand way of saying that when we couldn't get any media coverage, we couldn't get on the debate stages, those were related items, by the way, you can't go forward. I was unknown when I started my campaign. Less than 4% of Republican primary voters had ever heard of me. And so when no one knows you, you particularly need the oxygen of earned media and a debate stage. And those things were snuffed out for a whole set of reasons.
But most people would say nobody made more of their debate performances than you did. Were you surprised by the positive reaction that you got, especially after the Planned Parenthood statements that you made and how you really went after them?
Well, thank you, first of all. And when this election is all over, we should think as conservatives about the importance of giving the American people the opportunity to hear from people who they may not know, but who they should get to know. And that doesn't apply just at a presidential level. I wasn't surprised necessarily that people appreciated kind of common sense explanations of what's going on in the world. Yes, there were many people who found many of my answers powerful and compelling. What I'll tell you I was surprised by on the Planned Parenthood thing is how the liberal media jumped up and said she's lying, and said it with incredible force, and of course I wasn't lying. And then they sent out their protesters, and people would yell and scream at me and throw condoms and all the rest. We hit a nerve because I think the media, the liberal media, Planned Parenthood, they understand if this is true, and it is true, then it's going to cause a lot of people to rethink their support.
I know you can't tell us exactly what's in the future. You may not know what's in the future, but a lot of people want to know, are you going to stay engaged?
Oh, yes, ma'am. And I don't know exactly what's in the future. I never have. I didn't have a plan to become a CEO, but what I've always done in my life is to make a positive contribution, to use every minute of every day in the best way I can, and to lead, which is service to others. And so I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to raise my voice. I'm going to continue to stay engaged because I do think our nation is at a pivotal and perilous time. And I think those of us who have the opportunity to speak to the American people about what's at stake need to continue to do so. I certainly will.
Well, we're delighted that you're going to do that. And thank you for agreeing to sit down and talk with us. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.